You've heard it a million times. Tailor your resume to every job. But let's be real. If the resume you're working from is just not very good, then all you're doing is customizing a crappy resume over and over. And that's not helpful. In this video, I'll show you how to create a standout resume that you are confident in tailoring using ChatGPT, even if you have no idea where to begin. First, let's start with some Resume 101. Over the course of my HR career, I noticed a lot of people simply just listed what they did. Think of taking a bullet point from a job description and putting it on your resume. That's the type of thing I was seeing. And it would just be something standard like answered phones. But this is bland and it doesn't show the recruiter or the hiring manager why you specifically are a fit for a position, because thousands of other people have also answered phones. Compare it to this. Handled 80 plus customer calls daily, reducing the average wait time by 50% from 4 to 2 minutes by creating a concise, easy to use FAQ script. Now, that is something that recruiters and hiring managers are going to be interested in. Not only did you answer phones, but you reduced wait time, created a script, but more importantly, you understand the value of what you did and you were able to show that through your resume. And that's what a resume should do. It should highlight your unique experience and reflect why you specifically are a fit for a position. Now that we have down the purpose of a resume, let's dive into how ChatGPT can level up yours. And if you're like, yeah, but I don't even know where to begin with ChatGPT, make sure to check out my video in the description below, which is beginner friendly and all about how to start using ChatGPT in your job search. And one quick note before we get started, in this video, I am going to be focusing solely on the work experience sections of your resume. If you'd like to see a video on how to use ChatGPT for your summaries, your education, your skills, just let me know in the comments below. So now you have ChatGPT open and your resume. Now here's where a lot of people go wrong. They simply take their resume, copy and paste it into ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite it or polish it or whatever generic term that they use. We are going to take a much more strategic approach, and it's called multi-step prompting, where you take one long prompt and then shorten it into smaller components. And we're going to do this for each work experience section of your resume. So let's go ahead and get started. Prompt number 1 is where we're going to set the stage for what we want ChatGPT to do. You're a professional resume writer with 20 years of experience. My goal is to transform my existing resume section by section into impact-focused bullet points that showcase measurable results. Your job, wait for me to share a section, followed by complete request. Then rewrite only that section. Acknowledge with understood, ready when you are. Once you enter this prompt, go ahead and hit enter, and then you should be met with the response of understood, ready when you are. Now let's move on to prompt 2, where we are setting the rules and parameters for ChatGPT. When I give you a section, follow every rule below, and we have given it 6 rules. The first one is that we would like at least 75% of the bullet points to follow the Google XYZ formula. And now the Google XYZ formula does require that there are some numbers and quantifiable data for it to produce this bullet point. But don't worry, if you don't have that, we are going to cover that in point 2, which is not to make up any information, only use the details that you have provided. And if it is stuck with not knowing how to quantify something, then to suggest 3 different ways that you could potentially quantify it. Number 3 is to show exactly the changes that are being made by showing the original bullet point, the updated bullet point, and then any quantifiable ideas that it is lacking that you might be able to help with. Number 4 is word choice, and that's staying away from those overused words, but also starting out with a dynamic verb for each bullet point. Number 5 is to make sure it is concise, 15 to 25 words and 1 sentence per bullet point. And finally, we are using present tense for current roles and past tense for previous. Once you've entered this prompt, go ahead and hit return, and you should be met with understood, ready when you are once again. And this sets us up for prompt 3. And this one's important because you are asking it to ask you any clarifying questions before it fully processes the request. Prompt number 4 is where you tell it that you are going to paste in your work experience section, and then you'll type complete request. Once you see that phrase, carry out the rewrite and deliver the table per prompt 2. Once you have entered this prompt, simply go ahead, copy and paste in your specific work experience section that you want ChatGPT to help you rewrite, and hit enter. Once you do that, you should receive exactly back what you have asked of it. But let's go ahead and see this one in action. All right, let's go ahead and put the prompts into ChatGPT. We're going to go ahead and start with the first one. Awesome. Let's go ahead and give it the second one. Okay. The third one. Perfect. We're going to go ahead, put that in, and then copy and paste just the one section from my resume, and then let it know to complete request. Whoops, request. Okay, so now it has given us exactly what we asked for. It's showing us the original bullet point, the updated bullet point, and also areas of quantifiability. I don't know if that's a word, but areas that we can quantify, which is really helpful because if you're stuck on how do I add numbers to a bullet point, this is a great way that you can look at it through the lens of numbers. Now, of course, once you do this, you're definitely going to want to read them, make sure that you are good with them before you add these to your resume. When you are going through your entire resume, you're going to do this just section by section. That way it's just less overwhelming. And once you have all of the bullet points, go ahead and put them back into your resume. And just a heads up, 3 to 4, max 5 bullet points per work experience is kind of the recommended amount. When you do this for each of your work experience sections, it allows you to hone in on that one specific section and not feel overwhelmed with the entire resume. By breaking it down into these smaller components, you are going to have a much easier time creating your resume, and it's going to yield amazing results. Now, if you're like, okay, I have a resume that I am ready to start tailoring, you're going to want to make sure to check out my video here where I talk about how to now tailor your resumes to specific job postings.